All right. Well, this is, it's a pleasure and an honor to be here with this, standing with this group of people who are a part of an incredible team that I'm proud to have worked with over the last few years in our efforts to deal with the housing crisis in the capital region, as we have worked with great teams around the state of New York. I thank you for joining me here today for an important announcement about our continuing efforts to help communities and New York families recover from the crash of our housing market nearly a decade ago. We're joined, among others, by the great Albany County Executive Dan McCoy, Mayor Kathy Sheehan, my longtime friend and colleague Neil Breslin, Assembly Members McDonald, Santa Barbara, and Steck. We also are joined by some of New York's housing champions who have been intimately involved in this and really have been partners in developing the most comprehensive effort by any Attorney General's office in the state to contribute to the revival of the housing market and direct resources towards solutions to real problems for real New York families. Elizabeth Zeldin from the Enterprise Community Partners and Helene Kaloyer from the Local Initiative Support Corporation. Their organizations are our anchor partners in the land bank effort, and they oversee the grant application process and provide technical assistance. Also pleased that Adam Zarenko of the Albany County Land Bank is here, along with Christine Schutte from Habitat for Humanity of the Capital District. We'll speak about some good work that they've done very specifically in the course of this press conference. We're also joined by Joe Fama, the director of the Troy Community Land Bank, Albany County Legislature Chair. Sean Ward, I believe, is here with us, Majority Leader Comiso, two great allies from Schenectady County. We have been joined by the Mayor of Schenectady and by Richard Russo, County Legislator and Chair of the Capital Region Land Bank. I'm especially pleased to be joined by Sarita Sotomayor and her husband Luis, who are soon going to be moving into a home here in Albany that has been vacant for a very long time, but which was recently rehabilitated by the Albany County Land Bank in partnership with Habitat for Humanity. And we will be able to hear more about their story. This is a great team, and it takes a team to get this work done because, ladies and gentlemen, when the foreclosure and housing crisis hit nearly a decade ago, it devastated communities across the country. You could see the damage in the abandoned homes that were in neighborhoods all across the state, county by county, town by town, city after city. These were not just eyesores. They were havens for vandalism and crime. They would quickly fall into disrepair, threatening public safety, and of course, brought down the property values of all the surrounding homes. We recognized, as I started to investigate the banks that had brought about the housing crisis through some of their own reckless misconduct, we recognized that in our settlements, we needed to direct resources back to the communities that were hurt and find the most effective vehicles for providing assistance. We quickly focused on land banks, something that was actually pioneered in Detroit, but I'm very proud of the work we've done to make New York a state with really the most robust land bank program in the country. Land banks, of course, are nonprofits affiliated with local government that can buy up abandoned properties, rehab them, or tear down dilapidated structures that are beyond repair. Legislation authorizing local governments to set up as many as 10 land banks was first passed in 2011, but there was no funding available for them. And at time of fiscal crisis, there was not a lot of funding for a lot of things. But we recognized their potential, and when I started entering into what became the largest settlements in American history with some of these big financial institutions, we ensured that some of the funds would go to land banks. And the 3 land banks represented here today are a tremendous success story, and I think it's important to note that we first started to invest in land banks a few years ago and have had 2 rounds of funding so far, and now today are announcing about $21 million in new grant funding for the land banks in New York, including $3.4 million for the 3 land banks here in the capital area, the Albany County Land Bank, Troy Community Land Bank, and the Capital Region Land Reutilization Corporation based in Schenectady. All told, we've committed more than $57 million into the land banks since 2013. And And I'm pleased to say that while folks in the capital region were ready to go, and you guys have been on, with this program and aggressively pursuing it from the beginning, it took longer in some other parts of the state, but we're now up to 19 land banks all over the state of New York, from the east end of Long Island out to the shores of Lake Erie. And all 19 of these land banks are now receiving funding. Some are further along than others. But the settlement agreements we've secured with the major banks have produced more than $95 billion nationwide, more than $5 billion for New York. And our investment in land banks, as is demonstrated in a report we issued last November, has yielded great results. Here in Albany, the County Land Bank is partnering with local housing organizations to revitalize some of the most distressed neighborhoods in our beautiful capital city, including Sheridan Hollow, Arbor Hill, the South End. The Capital Region Land Bank in Schenectady is strategically targeting revitalization efforts in communities challenged by high poverty and vacancy rates, including Schenectady's Mount Pleasant neighborhood and Amsterdam's East End. And among other things, the Troy Community Land Bank has a very exciting project focusing on revitalizing one of the most distressed census tracts in the city, with the aim of acquiring 24 vacant and abandoned properties in that census tract, rehabilitating 16 and demolishing those that are beyond repair. Together, and you should be very proud of this fact, the three capital area land banks have acquired well over 700 properties. They've already renovated and returned to market more than 125 and demolished almost 100 unsafe structures. And finally, I'm proud to say that we were able, with working with some of the folks here right now, my colleagues in the legislature, to solve a problem that was confounding land banks all across the state, the phenomenon of zombie properties. But last summer, we passed the New York State Abandoned Property Neighborhood Relief Act. Zombies are properties that are abandoned, but there's an extended foreclosure proceeding, and it was impossible for land banks to acquire them, in many cases to find out who owned them. That's over now. Now they all have to be registered. Zombie properties have to be maintained by the banks. This is a great step, and that will empower land banks to do even more and to maximize their ability to take advantage of this new law. Our office also provided another $13 million in grants to 76 local governments around the state to help them beef up housing code enforcement and deal with the zombie issue. And that included more than $1 million that went to local governments here in the capital area. So these efforts are part of a very broad commitment we've had in our office since I became Attorney General. We've had a multi-pronged strategy for rebuilding. We've recognized the need to partner with our colleagues in local government. We've gotten support from the state legislature. This is a good success. This is a real success story, and the three land banks in the capital region have done a tremendous job, and we look forward to continuing to work with them. We've provided funding for housing counseling and legal services. We've set up a loan program to help New Yorkers qualify for mortgage modifications. There are tens of thousands of families all in every part of the state of New York who are in homes they would otherwise have lost but for this process, and we're continuing to expand the activities of the land banks, and I'm proud of the fact that they're doing such a good job and pleased that we can continue to provide funding. So we are now one step closer to turning the state around, city by city, town by town. And I'm proud to bring up a few of the advocates, and then we'll hear from some of my colleagues in government who have really been critical to this. So the first we want to start with Adam Zarenko, the Executive Director of the Albany County Land Bank, who'll be joined at the podium by Christine Schutte, the Executive Director of Habitat for Humanity in the Capital District. So let me now turn it over for them.
Thank you, Attorney General Schneiderman. Thank you for all that you have done for our land bank and for land banks throughout the state. Your leadership and your tremendous support of land banks has truly made a difference in our neighborhoods and neighborhoods across the state. When addressing the complex challenge of reclaiming hundreds and hundreds of vacant properties, we find that it truly takes a community of partners to help revitalize our communities. As you can see here today, this room is full of partners that have been incredibly supportive on our efforts, including many of our state and local elected officials and representatives from nonprofits like Habitat for Humanity, LISC, and Enterprise. I would like to thank each and every one of them, along with our incredible board of directors and our awesome staff, including our AmeriCorps members, our neighborhood associations, nonprofit residents, for their continued support. I would also like to recognize the Albany County Legislature for establishing the land bank, along with the Albany County Executive, and thank them for all of the support they have provided. Thanks in large part to the support of the Attorney General and Albany County, we have emerged as a leader in the efforts to combat blight. In just over 3 years, our land bank has acquired over 640 vacant and abandoned properties, made over 200 property improvements, incentivized millions of dollars of private investment, and enabled over 90 properties to return to productive reuse throughout the county. Thanks. I get asked the question why a lot in the course of business here. And, you know, people see the buildings, they see the scale of the challenge before us, and they always ask why. Why put so much time and effort and resources into these properties? Why not just knock them all down and start over? Why not just sell them all to the biggest developer you can find with the deepest pockets? And I think for us, the answer is very simple. We do it because we are all one big community. And every member of our community has the right to safe, decent, and affordable place to call home. And with these funds, we will be able to provide that opportunity to a lot more people. So thank you again, Attorney General Schneiderman, for your leadership, and congratulations to all the other land banks receiving an award.
Thank you, Attorney General Schneiderman, for your commitment to strengthening neighborhoods throughout New York State. Your continued reinvestment and investment in land banks allows them to partner with organizations like us, Habitat for Humanity, to breathe new life into vacant properties throughout the Capital District. And together, we're also creating opportunities for local families, like the Sotomayors. Where'd they go? They're back there somewhere. We're creating opportunities for local families like the Sotomayors to purchase affordable homes of their own and to set down roots in the neighborhood. It's a powerful reminder that through collaboration, we can ensure that our communities remain vibrant and sustainable for generations to come. Thank you.
Thank you. And I spoke before about the tens of thousands of families that we've helped through these various programs over the last few years. It is a great pleasure to put a face on that, or a couple of faces. And I'm pleased to introduce two proud new homeowners here in Albany, Luis and Sarita Sotomayor.
Thank you, Attorney General Schneiderman, for your work helping homeowners. My name is Sarita Sotomayor. My husband, Louis, and I will be the new owners of the house on Clinton Avenue. We are grateful to the Albany County Land Bank and to Habitat for Humanity for the Capital District for making the dream of affording our own home possible. Our family of 7 is looking forward to moving from a cramped apartment where we converted the dining room into a bedroom. We are proud to have helped renovate the spacious and beautiful home that had been long vacant. Our family has experienced both ups and downs. We lived for a time in a homeless shelter, and we relocated to Albany with the hopes of finding new opportunities. Louis and I work with organizations that provide services to individuals and families in need. With this chance to own our own home, we take pride in being able to provide stable housing for our children and our grandchildren. We believe our story sets an example that anything is possible if you put your mind to it. Thank you again, Attorney General Schneiderman, for supporting land banks across the state so that other families can achieve their dreams the way we have achieved ours.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. And now we're going to hear from some of the folks in our awesome roster of dedicated public servants and partners in these efforts, starting with Albany County Executive Dan McCoy.
What an exciting day, and it is a land of opportunity to hear that story that you go from being in a shelter and have an opportunity to own your own house. That's what the land bank's all about. And I want to thank the Albany County Legislature. Please stand up and take a bow because it's part of your here. Please, don't be shy. I want to thank you in the partnership that I've had with Majority Leader Frank Camiso and Sean Ward, that we invest at $1.5 million into the land bank, because it takes the blight out and it shows that it really does have an effect, not just on the community, but a family. But Attorney General Schneiderman, I want to say to you, thank you for your leadership, not just here in the Capital District, across the state of New York, but in this nation, because these land banks, if you're following it, is the most successful land banks in this nation, and that is because of your leadership. Thank you.
Thank you.
To me, it's about the opportunity of making an outcome in someone's life differently and working together in a partnership. And it's all been said, but I want to echo what Adam said. It's a partnership between our county legislature, between the county executive's office, the mayor's offices across the state, and our state representatives for being here in Santa Barbara, and Neil Breslin and John McDonald. Thank you, because it does take everyone working together, and that family is the outcome, and that's what it's about at the end of the day. So thank you again, and Attorney General, thank you again for your leadership.
Thank you. And now our next speaker, the mayor of the great capital city of Albany, and another great partner in this and other efforts, Kathy Sheehan. Your Honor.
Thank you so much, and I'd like to welcome the Sotomayors as the newest homeowners in the city of Albany. It's an exciting day for Clinton Avenue, and we could not have done it without the support of the Attorney General. When these land banks were created, it created a tremendous amount of hope and excitement in our community and in communities across the state. But we knew that we would need funding in order to ensure that we could provide that opportunity that we knew existed within these properties. And without the funding that you provided, I don't think we would be standing here today. I don't think we would be where we are today. And I know that the City of Albany, we're in the final stages of hiring our community rehabilitation specialist who is going to know every vacant building in the City of Albany on a first-name basis. They're going to know these buildings intimately. And the partnership that we've created with Mayor McCarthy and with Mayor Madden and Troy, this is happening across the region, and that is what was started with the funding that you provided initially and with the funding that you are announcing here today. Attorney General Schneiderman, thank you so much for understanding our communities and our families.
And now some of our colleagues in state government who have been a critical part of making this happen and enabled us to finally pass the zombie relief bill. First, a longtime colleague and warrior for this area, my friend Senator Neil Breslin.
Thank you very much, Attorney General Schneiderman. And, you know, the land banks could have existed, the three of them, without financing. But the impetus that General Schneiderman provided, you know, we usually speak of the Attorney General as the general or the sheriff. And here he is, the Social Services Commissioner of the state as well. And he's done, I am so proud of him, having graduated from the Senate, because there was no one more important in the state of New York for providing and understanding the linchpin that affordable housing does in the community, aside from removing blights and other social problems. And he gets it, and he's always gotten it. He's been a leader from the time he was in the Senate, and I couldn't be happier. And to pair with Mayor Sheehan, to pair with Dan McCoy, to pair with Gary McCarthy from Schenectady, and Mayor Madden and Troy, and all the other elected officials behind me, and so many more who aren't here. It's a win-win-win. Thank you.
Thank you. Now, a couple of colleagues from the Assembly who've been tremendously supportive of this throughout and who we've been in conversation with. Let's start out with Assembly Member McDonald and then take it from there.
Thank you, Attorney General. And I want to thank you for your continued commitment to the land banks. You may or may not recall the dean of our delegation, Neil Breslin, gathered us together for a meeting, some of the freshman legislators, when we joined the Assembly back 4 or 5 years ago. And it was mentioned that settlement money was going to be abundant. It was also going to be available. And we asked you what your priorities were. And you had mentioned that you had voted on it as a senator and supported the land banks. and that you wanted to help support them to get them off the ground and make sure they were successful. And today is a great example of that continued commitment of that dedication and that support. And fortunately, thanks to the leadership of Dan McCoy and Frank Camiso and Sean Ward, Albany County became a state-designated land bank. Mayor Rosamilia did the same over in the city of Troy. I see Joe Fama here today, who's been just a career of helping these communities. But more importantly, our special guests today are the Sotomayors. They are the inspiration of why government needs to continue to invest in these communities and these neighborhoods. I look at my friend Lucy down here, and she's been a strong champion in the South End. I look at my buddy Mert over here, who's over in the West Hill and the Arbor Hill neighborhood. We have a lot of work to do, but we've got a great partner in our Attorney General, Eric Schneiderman. Thank you.
Thank you. And now, finally, Assemblymember Santa Barbara, close us out.
Thank you so much, Attorney General. Thank you. It's great to be here. This is a great program. It's been said over and over again, and it's great that I could be here to congratulate this round of funding. I want to thank Attorney General Schneiderman for his continued support to provide that funding, that's much needed funding to municipalities in my district, in Schenectady, in Amsterdam. We are seeing a difference through the land bank. We are seeing homes identified and demolished. We're seeing new home ownership, opportunities for new home ownership. And I do want to add my congratulations to the Sotomayor family. Let's give them another round of applause, because I was talking to them, and they're very excited. They should be. But these are the opportunities that we're providing through this program. This program is working, and we can see the results. That's what's so nice about it. We're also protecting families, because vacant and abandoned homes attract crime. The fire department talks about the risks with having abandoned homes. So it's accomplishing a lot of things. It's attracting new businesses, and we're strengthening our neighborhoods through this program. So I can't say enough about it. I just want to thank the Attorney General for continuing to provide that support. And a lot of this round of funding is going to the East End in Amsterdam and in Schenectady, a neighborhood that I grew up in, the Mount Pleasant neighborhood. So it's truly inspiring to see that we are bringing back these neighborhoods. We are strengthening them. We're not giving up on them, and we're doing it through this program. So thank you and congratulations. God bless. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you all. It really is inspiring for us to be a part of such a great team and to see everyone pulling together. This shows you what you can do when we work together, where state, local government, community activists, and advocates work. It benefits people all over the state of New York. I'm proud of the work we've done. You learn something new every day. I didn't realize until now that Mayor Sheehan is someone who is on a first-name basis with abandoned properties. So if you see someone walking around talking to buildings, it may well be a housing expert, not someone who's having trouble coping. But with that, I thank you. I'm pleased that we're going to continue. I'm proud of the work we've done. I'm pleased with the fact that with this new funding, the work is going to go forward. The land banks are really just getting started. And as you can see from the reports here, they are not shying away from the toughest challenges in the toughest neighborhoods. That's what they're supposed to do. Thank you for all your great work. Let's keep at it. And with that,